Hi everyone, I'm Ben Steery. I'm a Totus Tuus missionary with the Diocese of Marquette. I'm in this weird storage closet at St. Albert the Great Campus Parish, and I'm here to give a little bit of a reflection about the second commandment. So, the second commandment is that you shall not take the Lord's name in vain. This is part of the group of commandments that deal with the way that we sort of interact with God. But I think all of these commandments that deal with how we interact with God also say something about how we interact with other people. So I guess just like, you probably haven't seen my full testimony yet, but I'm a recent convert to Catholicism, kind of grew up with no faith background. So I just converted in the last, a little over a year ago. And coming from that background, I guess there was nothing really. There's nothing sacred in my life. There's nothing that was so enormously important that it couldn't be ridiculed in an unserious way. I guess I think that's something that was taught to me, or I don't know how to diagnose that, but there's something about there's something arrogant about just taking something seriously. I think that's how I felt. That's how I felt that other people felt. So it was almost seen as like a virtue to be able to mock things that you were supposed to take seriously. And I think the root of that is the idea that there's no universal or objective truth. And so it becomes wrong to cling to a truth so strongly that you aren't willing to ridicule it. But if we come to know God, it becomes very apparent that He's not worthy of ridicule, or if there's anything we shouldn't ridicule, it's our Creator who loves us perfectly. There's nothing to mock in Him, in His perfection. And I think that really starts to change the way you think about, I guess, kind of everything, especially when I consider the things around me and the people around me as part of the creation of that Creator. You know, God in the second commandment says, "Shall not take my name in vain." And that's pretty intuitive. You know, you say, okay, I don't take the name of my God in vain. But then, I consider my neighbors, the people that I go to school with, and I think about them as the beloved children of that God. His name is kind of written on them, and that's an occasion for serious consideration if you find yourselves talking, I guess, glibly or loosely about somebody around you, like anybody. And so I think the idea that you shouldn't take the Lord's name in vain has really been an occasion for me to speak more genuinely about the people around me and of myself as well. Because knowing that His name is kind of written on our hearts, on our minds, and on our very being. And then also, when I think that at least and I think people generally tend to underestimate the degree to which our speech influences our thoughts. You know, we think of our speech coming from our thoughts. You think and then you speak. But there's a certain way that speech is habitual, and we'll say similar things over and over again without really thinking about it, and then we also hear the things that we say. And so there's a certain way in which our speech feeds back into our thoughts. And even if we're saying something as a joke, you know, often self-deprecating humor is like this. We'll say it over and over as a joke, but in your mind, there's something that starts to believe that even a little bit. Maybe you don't believe it exactly the way you're saying it. And that's really an occasion for us to believe lies about ourselves, lies about God, and lies about other people. So overall in my life, the second commandment has been an occasion to speak seriously and charitably and lovingly about my Creator and His creation, which includes the people around me who I'm called to love, and about myself, who I'm called to love. I hope maybe that resonates with you too. Thanks. Bye.